This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You are always scum. Rebel scum.
Star Wars is in the news heading into the weekend. Not all bad stuff, not all good stuff, but stuff is happening in Star Wars. We're not gonna touch on the big news. I don't even think it's news because I don't think Gina Carano. It's just whatever. We're gonna talk about two of everyone's favorite characters over the last 5 to 10 years, and that is Darth Maul, and not Boba Fett, aka the Mandalorian Din Djarin. I'm James. He's Brock. Welcome to Unleashed. Brock, how you doing on Friday?
Staying inside. It's cold out there.
It's freaking freezing out. Wow, it's beyond cold. This is the heart of the winter. This is it. I hope there's no, I hope we're at the, I hope it doesn't get any worse than this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's all downhill from here. Wait, that's not how you want to say it.
Hey, March is coming.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like we're already halfway through February. I'm like, wow.
It's crazy. I'm just trying to get our audio levels to match somewhat. You're very quiet today.
Nice. Yeah, sorry. You speak up.
It's all good. So anyway, yesterday, I guess it's been 24 hours or so from the time this gets uploaded, or maybe 30 hours, whatever. Darth Maul himself, Ray Park, posted an image of like a shell of his scalp, which would be, I guess, makeup to go over his head, bald with some horns on it. Obviously, it's the Darth Maul getup, the Zabras getup before it's painted to look like Maul.
Yeah.
And he wrote, "Meet me on Dathomir" is the caption to it.
Wow.
Yes. So look. We can look at this and freak out and be like, he's coming back. Or we could also look at it and say, wow, this is an old picture probably from Solo, and that's what he says in Solo, and he's just having some fun. But Brock, You saw this image. What went through your head?
I was like, whoa. That's crazy. I only saw the picture. I didn't see the comment, but so this is on his Twitter.
It's on his Instagram account.
Wow. So it means nothing as of right now. It's just a picture drop.
Yeah, he put a picture, but again, it could be from today. Yeah. It could be from yesterday. It could be from Solo. It could even be from the Phantom Menace. For all we know, this could be a 21-year-old picture, and he's like, 22-year-old picture, whatever it is, and he throws it up. So who knows? But anyway, yeah, he posted it though.
Wow,
he's playing a game.
Wow, that's crazy. That's because it's just like, oh, it's true. You kind of react. You're like, oh, Star Wars, right? And it's like, we should take this slow, where it's like, maybe he's just posting something really cool, and that's that. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I'm one that's constantly saying, like, Lucasfilm seems to want to put their money in Darth Maul. They keep bringing him back incessantly, so...
And they brought him back to play Maul in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Final 4 episodes or 3 of them, whatever he was in. The fights, he did the fight scene, so whatever it was, 2 episodes, whatever.
Yeah. They didn't have to do that, but they did it. So wow, I mean, and I was gonna say it's like, oh, he said Dathomir. It's like, oh, that means like maybe there's something with Dathomir. Though that guy really liked being part of Star Wars, so it's not far-fetched that he's actually learned the lore of Darth Maul that he knows, because I don't think Dathomir has ever said in Phantom Menace.
He says it in Solo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There
he
you go.
says to Kira, "Meet me on Dathomir."
Interesting too, though. Like it's because like I forget he's in Solo.
Because he's
And
not
like,
really.
one of the best. He's one of the best parts in that
Yes.
movie. But at the same note, it's like it's not really the main story. It's just sort of like, oh, by the way. So, what were your thoughts, James?
At first I was like, "Oh, that's cool," and then he said, "Meet me on Dathomir," and I decided to get in my own head and lie to myself. I'm confident I'm lying to myself, but my thought was, I don't. I hope he's not in the Obi-Wan show because of Rebels, right? So if he shows up on Obi-Wan, first of all, you have Hayden Christensen there. I'm like, it does, and I know the argument against the Rebels thing is that the viewership on Rebels wasn't excessive. You know what I mean? Like maybe now with Disney Plus, more people have seen it. But again, like your parents might like those kind of people don't know that he even showed up on there, and they're still like, "Why was he in Solo?" Or like you, they've forgotten that he was. I went more to in the hopes of Meet Me on Dathomir that maybe we're going to be getting more of Maul and Kira in the future. Maybe this is he's doing it. Again, I kind of believe that this is an old photo, but what if they're doing a test now to see how it'll work on a show about Maul and Kira, and maybe that's one that they just didn't announce to us, didn't give us. Maybe someone's working on it. I don't know. Maybe he's in the Acolyte show and he's playing a different Zabras character, or a different, like there are, I think, possibilities beyond the obvious. But again, I hope he's not in Obi-Wan just because we have their finale. And like, and if he meets him then he meets him like 5 years in Rebels, it's like, well, what the hell was the point of his journey in Rebels? So it takes away from that a little bit. Unless they do a live-action version of the Rebels fight on the Obi-Wan show, which would be kind of neat to see, if they kept it true to how it was. But again, we've seen it, so whatever. So my hope when I saw this was Meet Me on Dathomir, and I think a lot of people have the hope that they were getting a Kira Maul show. I know people want the Solo 2 thing, but beyond the Solo 2, I think there's so much meat to be had there. And now with the book of Boba Fett, Brock, we're going to be dealing in these like crime lords now in the future. Like this, then the book of Boba Fett is years from this, obviously, or yes, it's years from this, but not too far off, right? So the Hutts would still be in place. So and Darth Maul is a crime lord. So there's so much at play there that they can have fun with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not adverse to them possibly doing Maul in the Obi-Wan show and then not redoing, just like live version of the duel we see in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
You could easily do that scene exactly like it is in the cartoon, but then expand upon it a little bit, right? Give a little bit more. Though I guess the problem is just like I'm trying to remember the whole episode. It's like I guess you have to include Ezra at some point because he is he present during the duel? I can't remember now.
I think he leaves.
Part of that episode.
He is, but I'm not sure. I have to watch it again. I don't think he's there for that fight.
Because he goes and meets Obi-Wan and then talks to him. But then is he still present when Maul shows up? Yeah,
I guess I don't have a look. For me, the only way you could bring Maul into that show is if it's that point, because anything else it defeats the purpose of like 2 seasons of Rebels. It's just you've taken away from that, and they say they won't do that.
I mean, it could work. It could work in the sense that like Obi-Wan, the show is about Obi-Wan dealing with his isolation or something, perhaps because we know Hayden Christensen has been cast. Perhaps the whole storyline is him dealing with the fallout of Hayden Christensen becoming Darth Vader. Sorry, Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader. Or all the people he's lost and all the choices he made. You could even like put in a Duchess Satine somehow. Like, why not? We have Bo-Katan. Like, so like I don't hate that idea. But then I think you're right too. It's like perhaps he's just another Zabrak, because the guy's really good at doing stunts. There's no reason why you couldn't put him back in there. But it's it's exciting just to see it. At the very least, it's like it's fun to see the actors being like, oh, I enjoyed being in this project.
Yeah, especially with all the, and the other thing too is because he, aside from we mentioned off camera before we started, like that one incident he had a few months ago where he almost got canceled, or maybe he did, who knows. Aside from that though, he's been a great ambassador for the brand, which we talk about all the time with like Sam Witwer and Warwick Davis and Mark Hamill, people like that who are great ambassadors for the brand. He loves to promote Star Wars, and Star Wars just had kind of an awkward week in a lot of ways, right? So this could just be him being like, I'm going to boost it up a little bit. Here's some morale. And again, this could be a picture from, 5-6 years ago, whenever they did Solo, 3 years ago, whatever. It could be from 22 years ago when they did, 23 years ago when they did Phantom Menace. Who knows when it was from or why, but it definitely, it's definitely sparked interest. It was definitely a lot of fun to see it. And then when he writes, I'll meet you on Dathomir, or meet me on Dathomir, you go, okay, I'll join you there. How fast can I get there?
It is an interesting question because it's like we constantly talk about leaks or whatever, or like what is actually being leaked. Like what are like, is Lucasfilm an easy place to get in, find information, and release it on the internet, or is it Lucasfilm intentionally creating a marketing campaign where it looks like it's that, but it's not? It's them leaking to the internet themselves. So like the question I have is like, obviously when you're an actor on one of these big productions, you sign a contract that says you will not reveal anything that could affect the viewers look at the film in a good or bad way. Like, so is he? But then outside of that, once your contract is done, once the production is done, what stops you from posting anything? People do it all the time, right?
And that's why you've got to think that either this is an old photo or they planned this. Because look, if he's in Solo and he has a picture from Solo and they're like, okay, you're allowed to, you can spill the beans, share your photos of set now. He could do it 3-4 years ago when the movie came out, or he could do it now if he wants, and he could do it 5 days from now, a week from now, because he has those images. And what he posts, it isn't spoilery in any fashion at all, and it gets people. It takes the spotlight off of that negative conversation that everybody had been having for the past half week, or positive, depending on how you. I don't even know anymore. But it takes away the garbage that was being thrown at us.
Yeah. And
now makes you excited for Star Wars and the possibility that maybe he's back. And the reality is, I hate to say it, but he's probably not back in anything anytime soon, maybe ever. But I definitely think that this is a distraction, and this could even be, Brock, him trying to get in good with Lucasfilm after he got into a little bit of a snafu with them in the summer, I think, or whenever it was, like a year ago. I don't know. Time has just kind of like froze, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but that's a possibility. It could just be that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can't agree with you more. Because it's like, I do agree. It is fun to see stuff like that, and it's neat. Like, if you're an Instagram person, it happens all the time where all of a sudden, like, photos that have been in a box for 30 years are found and then put on the internet. It's like, check out the behind the scenes of Raiders of the Lost Ark, or like look at like this is how they created the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, just using films as an example. But like that stuff happens all the time, so like
absolutely. So anyway, I it's a fun picture to post. It's fun to look at, and I've been talking about this the last while. We've been playing the Fallen Order game, and all those Zabrats have been coming at us on Dathomir as of late, and I think we're close to wrapping it. I don't know, but the second sister, spoiler alert for those that are like me and haven't played it yet, second sister has just snatched the holocron from us, and she has gone away, and I was disappointed because I thought I was winning that fight. And she snatched the holocron, and now we're trying to find it. I've been knighted a Jedi.
Nice.
So that's where we ended it. Is that close to the end? Do you know?
I can't remember. See, like, one thing I've never said to you is like you can play the planets out of order. Like,
Yes.
There's no actual definitive order per se. There is a storyline that you're guiding, but it's like I think like you can go to each one because you have to just get them done before you can move to a certain part of the story.
Yes. So we've been going to the planets as they tell us to go to the planets. I'm like it's a lot of fun. Aaron really likes it, and the story is intriguing and it's a fun time. And I said to you, with this Star Wars gaming that's that Lucasfilm kind of started, and EA keeping Star Wars, not getting rid of it, but keeping it, just not exclusive anymore. In the next 5 years, we should have like an onslaught of Star Wars games coming, and the thing that's fun is, as I wasn't one of the people that had the issue with EA. I just thought they were kind of lackadaisical on what we got, but they're going to be all different types of games for everybody, and it's going to be there's going to be more like this. There's going to be more like Battlefront. There's going to be more like maybe another pod racing game, Brock, if they're listening to me. So the next 5 years is going to be a lot of fun for Star Wars video games.
There's gonna be an Animal Crossing, but it's called Jawa Crossing, and Tom Nook is a Jawa, and it's like, well, I'll sell you this moisture farm for this many bells, and then you spend your life trying to figure out how to pay it off.
Yeah. That's probably, there will be a game like that, no question. Okay, let's move on past Darth Maul. Couple years later, we brought up the Book of Boba Fett, but Mandalorian Season 3 is slated to begin filming or taping, whatever, digitizing in April, I believe. I think at the same time as Obi-Wan, or Obi-Wan might be May now, I'm not sure. But Mandalorian Season 3, sometime April, like 15th or 25th, there's a 5 in there. But Pedro Pascal has just signed on to be the lead in the Last of Us HBO series. The actress acting alongside him is from Game of Thrones. I'm not that familiar, so I can't speak to that casting, nor do I know her name. I'm sure she's talented. She was on Game of Thrones. Everybody liked Game of Thrones until the end. Kind of sounds like Star Wars. But Brock, have you ever played The Last of Us?
No, but I've never played it. Our friend Daryl has.
Of course he has.
I think he loved it, and then he didn't like the second one. But the second one, from what I've heard, is a little bit more about like social dynamics and stuff like that. It's always sounded interesting to me. I don't have a PS4, so I can't. It's one I wouldn't mind trying. It's supposed to be amazing. It's definitely like the hype. I was listening to a video podcast the other day, and they were talking about like Cyberpunk 2077 and Last of Us 2 both came out roughly this year, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess
2020-ish, I guess.
Actually, no, they both came out in 2020, but like Cyberpunk was just before Christmas, right?
Yeah.
But they're the most hyped games in the last like decade, and they both came out roughly the same time. So it's interesting. I totally get why they're like, okay, like Last of Us, let's make something. I'm just looking at it. I remember this. Yeah, the girl who's going to play Ellie, I think. Yeah. She's like, she wasn't a big character, but she was interesting in the last season because like she's like a child, but because of there's wars and going on and people die, she is now in charge of her like castle or whatever you want.
Oh, really?
Like kingdom, right? So it's like all the good guys are grouping together, so it's all old men and this little girl. So it was very interesting, and like she was like as tough as nails. So that works with the Ellie character from what I know. And I mean, I think that's what's cool about Pedro Pascal. He's really good at transforming himself. So like I'm sure there's a lot of people like complaining about this on the internet because I believe the voice actors for the video game the characters are modeled over their appearance. So like people are like, oh, you should cast them. But like I think the Ellie character, she's like a full adult now, but she's supposed to be like 13, 14 or something in the game. So whatever. I mean, you're never gonna please the internet. So that's exciting though.
I haven't seen anything against Pedro Pascal's casting aside from political reasons. But her casting, I've seen people say like, why don't you get that person? So I didn't know that about that. But again, you get the actor who's best for the part. That's how it usually works.
What does this mean for The Mandalorian?
So yeah, according to some, I've read this a few times now. So this is why I thought maybe we should talk about this briefly. So his Pedro Pascal's contract for this show is first rights or something, however they phrase it. That means that The Last of Us comes first, and Mandalorian comes somewhere after. Now, the thing I don't think this will affect Mandalorian too much because, no offense to him or anything, but he's mostly a voice actor on the show anyway, so he could go into a booth and do it. And the thing is, he got cast late in The Mandalorian. Now, whether he was cast late or was on set and they didn't announce it until he was on set, I don't know exactly how that played out. But we weren't told that he was going to be the Mandalorian until after we saw a picture of the Mandalorian on set, if you remember that. And that picture of the Mandalorian on set, I believe, was Brandon Wayne. I believe that's who that was, because they have the two stuntmen doing it. They have the walking stuntman, like the gunslinger, and then they have the fighting stunt. They have the two of them. And Pedro Pascal, what came out recently was that Pedro Pascal actually wasn't in that first episode, I believe, of The Mandalorian, maybe the first episode and a half of The Mandalorian, because he was in England or somewhere, I think it was England, shooting Wonder Woman 2. So he's not even actually in those ones. So this news is coming out about Pedro Pascal doing this and how, what does that mean for The Mandalorian? And I just think it means he will be in costume less if need be, and they have people in there, and he will show up in that sound booth and do his voice acting like usual. That's what I think. Yeah. I don't know. What do you make of that?
I mean, I agree with you, and I don't think that's a terrible thing because, I mean, I kind of wish they didn't reveal that, like, it was not Pedro Pascal in the first episode. I mean, I think we all kind of assume that a large chunk of what we're seeing isn't him, but, like, it's, I mean, the show is fine. Like, The Mandalorian is good. They figured it out. Whatever they do, just keep doing that. Mm-hmm. So if that means that like this one character is actually 3 different people, great. Then it's like you should be able to like churn out so much more because you have three people that can cover a character walking. It's like, so if just Pedro is only needed when he takes his helmet off, which who knows? I mean, we got a lot of it this season. We could get a lot next season. So yeah, I mean, I think everybody, it's COVID. COVID delayed so many things. I think all they want to do now is do stuff. So I'm sure he's fully ready to be like, I'm on this project, and then I zoom over to this project, and then call me and I'll come back. Like it's.
I'm not sure where The Last of Us is shooting. Let me see if I can figure it out. But that's something I'm not sure. If I can find it, maybe I can't. So I don't want
to. I see that it's HBO that's doing it. So
yeah, it's like, HBO Max.
It's interesting. Like, remember the days of like the early superhero films where you're like, you could only work for one company.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I don't think that's the case anymore. Like HBO versus Disney Plus. I was gonna say, it's like, oh, why don't you just shoot it all on the volume? You can be in one spot, but then I'm pretty certain that Disney probably doesn't want to share the volume with anybody. Who knows? I could be wrong. It's maybe not fully owned by Disney, so it's not their call. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So apparently Last of Us starts shooting in the next couple of months, but I can't find where, and I don't want to waste too much time talking about that. But I don't think he's going to be needed on set too much. And like you just said, we're in this weird time where, with COVID, everybody needs to work, and Disney Plus needs to get their show on the road. And if that means him on set less, I don't think it's going to affect his bank account at all, which is really probably all that matters to him. And now the only way it could affect it, and I saw something there where apparently they wanted to start shooting earlier, but he had another conflict, so they didn't, is if in this season 3 he is without his helmet more often, because that's something that we haven't talked about too much, but that's a possibility now that Bo-Katan's going to be a big thing, and Mandalore is going to be a big thing. Is maybe he learns a way, a different way, and he removes his helmet more often and he's without it. So that could pose a problem for season 3 scheduling if that's the case. But again, you got Obi-Wan, Cassian Andor, Book of Boba Fett. I mean, if Mandalorian season 3 is delayed, yeah, it sucks because we all love the Mandalorian, but we also don't know what Mandalorian season 3 is. It feels like it's going to be a bit of a different show anyway. So, it's not the end of the world at this point. If this was season 2 and there was nothing else happening, then it would be a different story, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's sort of like, what is a Mandalorian if they're not wearing the helmet? Mm-hmm. And in Clone Wars and Rebels, we see them without helmets like a lot, and we're comfortable with that. But it's just like, it's like being based on Boba Fett from the original movies, where it's like you never see his face. No, that's not even a thing anymore either. But it's just like, I think, yes, we should. I think this season is going to be about what the Mandalorian identity is. Mm-hmm. So, like, I think the helmet is really gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna mean a lot. So when it's on and when it's off. So, yeah,
absolutely. All right, you good? I'm good. Do you want to keep going? Do you want to do this is Unleashed. So we'll wrap it up. It's Friday. Everybody should get back to their parties. Everyone's outside right now having a good time because it's not COVID anymore. COVID's over.
Surprise.
Yay. Anyway, Brock, anything else you want to say before we say goodbye?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day.
You.
Are you doing anything for Valentine's Day? Oh, are you talking to me?
Maybe. I don't know. It's COVID.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do exactly?
You have dinner.
Yeah, no, I know, but you know what I mean? Like,
Valentine's Day is dinner, chocolate, flowers. The end.
Sure. But, generally you would go somewhere fun. You know what I mean?
I suppose. I think...
you live in the woods.
But I don't think we're free until Tuesday. I think Tuesday is when we're unleashed.
Oh, I know. I'm not even talking about that. You just live in the woods. So sitting in your backyard is more than enough. Well, I guess it's winter. Yeah, winter's that's not happening. Although I really want to get one of those outdoor. If you ever go to Whistler, man, you can eat outside they probably have this like everywhere else, but you eat outside in the winter and they have these like fires all around you, and it's like it feels like spring, and it's the greatest thing ever. I am going to Whistler tomorrow. I'm not. Yeah, but I live near the big city, so Valentine's Day is always let's go downtown. So that's not really a thing this year. Is what is my point. Well, I can't remember when last time we went out for Valentine's, because our anniversary's so close to it now that we're just like, ugh. Yeah, that's true. But we're like, happy anniversary, by the way. Well, thank you. I got a panini press, and all I do is make sandwiches now. That's the greatest thing ever. This is my life. Living in the woods during COVID, making pizza and sandwiches. It's the greatest thing ever. Anyway, I hope you have a great Valentine's Day. I'll send you a card and some heart candy in the mail. Yay. And it's going to be a good time. But anyway, this has been an episode of Unleashed. He's Brock. I'm James. And he was always Scum. Rebel Scum.
Hey, scumbags. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.